Yo soy Rory Foster y hoy es video viernes. Hoy nosotros hablamos de verbos en el pretérito. Today we're talking past tense. Verbos en el pretérito. En español hay dos, well, mínimo dos past tenses. There are many past tenses in Spanish after you look at all the different compound tenses and things. But there are two primary past tenses, and what's tricky is not necessarily the conjugation of them, but the use of them. So today, right now in this video, we're going to look at the conjugations of regular verbs in this tense, and we'll talk about the uses. And next week, we'll look at the other past tense, the imperfect. So for now, ¿cómo se conjuga? Well, for now, actually, sorry for bailing on you last week. We took a little vacation, kind of a last-minute weekend getaway up to the mountains and went fishing for the weekend. And we had a lot of fun, caught lots of trout in some lakes and in some rivers, and got the canoe out and had fun as a family. So that's why I wasn't here with you last week. And next week, we'll talk about next week at the end. But anyway, bien, empezamos con el pretérito. El pretérito tiene conjugaciones, good news and bad news. The good news is you only have to remember two different conjugations because ERs and IRs son iguales en español en este tiempo verbal, en el pretérito. So let's take a look at it. The bad news is that when you get to some other irregulars, they're a little tougher, and when you get to stem changers, that's a little more difficult. We'll look at those. Okay. Bien. Los verbos AR, we have our verbo examinar. Yo examiné. Now remember, we're always dropping the ending of the verb. So yo examiné. Tú examinaste. Tú examinaste. Remember, you'll never use the to form unless you're talking to children, 13 and lower. Él, ella, usted examinó. Examinó. Nosotros, we're going to make a note of this. We have to get back to that. Nosotros examinamos. And ellos, ellas, ustedes examinaron. Bien, examinaron. This is vosotros, which we don't use much here in the Americas, so we're just not going to worry about it. So yo examiné, tú examinaste, él, ella, usted examinó, nosotros examinamos, ellos examinaron. Okay. Tenemos que ver the él, ella, usted form un momento. Examinó. Examinó. That accent actually means something. It means you have to pronounce that syllable. You have to emphasize that syllable. Examinó. Why does that matter? Because the present tense is spelled the exact same way, but the emphasis is here, examino. So it's spelled the same way. This accent tells you you have got to emphasize that syllable so that it sounds like past tense to someone who's speaking to you. So, él examinó, usted examinó, ella examinó. Muy bien. Examino, yo examino, present tense. That's not what we're talking about. We have to be careful with that. Okay, bien. Verbos AR. Haste, o, amos, aron. Excelente. Verbos ER, IR, good news. They're the exact same conjugation. So, tenemos el verbo sufrir, because Spanish sometimes makes you sufrir. Sufrir. Yo sufrí. Yo sufrí. Tú sufriste. Él, ella, usted sufrió. We don't have the same problem here because IO is not a common yo form ending in the present tense. Okay? So this is different enough. You don't have to worry about it. Sufrí, sufriste, sufrió. Nosotros sufrimos. And ellos, ellas, ustedes sufrieron. Bien. Again, vosotros we won't worry about. Entonces, sufrir. Again, we always drop the ending, IR, and she suffered a lot. ella, what would it be? Ella, she suffered a lot. Ella, we have to go to the ella form. Sufrió mucho. Ella sufrió mucho. Okay, bien. Those are the conjugations of regular verbs in the preterite tense. Bien, you'll notice that imos and amos, the nosotros form, is the exact same as the present tense nosotros form for IR verbs, not ER in the present tense, but for IR, and for AR verbs. Well, context is going to drive your understanding of whether someone is saying we examine or we examined. So the whole context of your sentence should make it clear whether it was yesterday, it's clearly we examined, right? Or on occasion we examine, then you understand that it's present tense. Bien. So contexto drives that. Las conjugaciones no son, well, present tense conjugaciones no son la parte difícil del pretérito. La parte difícil, when you talk about past tense, the hard part is really understanding when to use which tense. And so hay unos usos específicos para el pretérito that I want to share with you, and I've got a little acronym to help. Vamos a ver. Our acronym is SPICY. Spicy. Okay, bien. La primera, yeah, it's a little weird, but spicy. Specific and completed actions in the past. And these descriptions of when to use the preterite will become much more clear next week when we look at the correlating descriptions to the imperfect tense, the uses of imperfect. But first, let's start off with specific and completed actions in the past. So, specific and completed. Por ejemplo, Julia no comió ayer. Julia did not eat yesterday. Le sacaron sangre en ayunas para un examen. Le sacaron sangre. Julia didn't eat yesterday. They took blood en ayunas, fasting, para un examen. Okay, so Julia no comió, le sacaron sangre en ayunas. Okay, so they took some blood after fasting, en ayunas. En ayunas, that might be a good one for you. En ayunas is fasting. Bien? Okay, perfecto. So we've got specific and completed. P is our past actions and events that just happened one time. So, kind of similar. Past actions and events one time. Bien. Let's get this en ayunas out of the way. Past actions and events one time. So, por ejemplo, su papá sufrió un ataque de corazón el año pasado. Su papá sufrió un ataque de corazón el año pasado, last year. So her father suffered a heart attack last year. Pobrecita. Sí. Ok, bien. Continuamos. La letra I. La letra I is interrupting actions. Interrupting actions, like the doorbell rang when we were watching the Olympics. Okay, the doorbell rang is the action that interrupts we were watching the Olympics. Okay, bien, entonces, vamos a ver. Por ejemplo, la enfermera, the nurse, la enfermera sacó sangre. La enfermera sacó sangre, because, right, en ayunas, ¿sí? La enfermera sacó sangre mientras la familia esperaba afuera. So, la enfermera sacó sangre mientras la familia esperaba. Now, esperaba is the past tense we're going to see next week. This is called the imperfect. So, the nurse sacó sangre, she took blood, mientras la familia, while the family, esperaba, was waiting outside, afuera. See? Okay, so, sacó sangre is the interrupting action of that frase. Okay, bien. Y otro completed actions es completed actions in the past. It could be that they went on for some time, but the emphasis is now that they are done, okay? Por ejemplo, completed actions. Oh, el paciente terminó su primer curso de quimioterapia en julio. So, el curso probablemente consistió en varias visitas, right? So his chemotherapy, his first round, probably was a handful of visits, right? But terminó su primer curso de quimioterapia en julio. We're talking about, it's a set of actions, but the focus is that it's completed. It's not ongoing. And that's where we can get into trouble. If it's ongoing, it becomes this other past tense. But now it's completed. El paciente terminó su primer curso de quimioterapia en julio. So he finished his first round of chemo in julio. Okay? Bien, so completed actions en el pasado. It could be events, could be a series that was completed. It's something where the emphasis is on that it's completed, not that it's ongoing or that it was ongoing. Okay? Bien. This stuff gets more clear as we look at the other past tense and we do a compare-contrast. Okay? It's actually more of a contrast. Bien. Excelente. Y finalmente, yesterday, and other past tense trigger words. Past tense trigger words. Things like yesterday, this morning, last week, suddenly, or things like that that are triggering some kind of event, see, in the past. Bien. Entonces, puede ser ayer, por ejemplo, yesterday, la semana pasada. There's a list that I'll post in this video feed on Facebook. Ayer, la semana pasada, de repente. It's really all the pasados, el año pasado, and then other time mentions referring to the past, like this morning, esta mañana, or last night, anoche, etc. Okay, bien. So tenemos spicy, which covers the uses of el pretérito. Specific and completed actions. Julia no comió porque le sacaron sangre en ayunas. Past actions and events. Su papá sufrió un ataque de corazón el año pasado. Interrupting actions. La enfermera sacó sangre, she took blood, mientras la familia esperaba afuera, while the family was waiting outside. And that whole was waiting thing, other past tense. Completed actions, whether it was a series or a one-time thing, doesn't really matter. The focus is on the fact that it's done with, it's completed. El paciente terminó su primer curso de quimioterapia en julio. And then a handful of trigger words. Yesterday, just trigger words in español. Ayer, la semana pasada, de repente, anoche, etc. I'll put a list of those triggers aquí in el post, okay? Muy bien, that's it for today, or for now anyway. I'm actually going to upload a couple more videos right now talking about some other variations in conjugations, both irregulars and a few other spelling change verbs in the preterite tense. Next week, I think we're doing this on Thursday because next week is opening weekend for archery season, and I'm going to see if my daughter and I can bring home an elk. So anyway, I'll be out of town next Friday. We'll probably do this next Thursday. Muy bien, see you in a few. Hasta luego.